Of all the places to go to get Lancia Fulvia panels, I thought it was going to be Italy, but it happens to be here in Wrexham in Wales. Apparently the guy I'm going to see hand beats them and sends them all over the world, including Italy. Right, now the guy I'm meeting is an Italian guy, I think, and his name's Dave. Is Dave an Italian name? I think it is. Sounds Italian, doesn't it? Dave.
Hi, Tim.
Gutted. Absolutely gutted. Of all the places we could have been in Fabriano, Lucca, Lake Como, but we're in Wrexham. Nice
Not quite what you were
here.
expecting.
Am I right in thinking you, okay, I'm surrounded by Fulvia, so I want to get stuck into these, but you actually make panels here. Am I in the right place?
Yes, you are in the right place. I do make panels.
Right. How come you do that here in Wrexham?
Necessity, I guess. Yeah, years ago, I've always done restoration work, and as I needed more and more hands-on stuff, I started making them myself.
Right, so let me tell you our story, because it's a sad one,
Okay.
as I guess with a lot of the Italian cars that rotted.
A little bit like this one.
Yeah, like this one. So the bottom 6 inches of the car is just completely shot, and when I mean shot, we need to replace the lot.
Most of them are like that. You really do have to work hard to find an original car, but
Well, that's an example of an original car, isn't it?
yes, it's pretty much original. It's
Wow.
had a little bit of repair work, only done 49,000 miles.
What's the colour of this? What is this?
This one is a Vor Chantilly, I believe. I think it's a 1965 Lancia colour. Might have been on a couple of Flaminias as well.
So what came before this?
This was preceded by that, which is...
The Appia?
Yes.
Oh,
An
wow,
Appia.
I didn't, do you know
Yeah.
what? I didn't even notice that. Is so pretty, isn't it? Isn't that such a lovely looking car? It's like a cartoon car. It's like a piece of sort of semi-melted marshmallow.
Yeah, it is a beautiful car.
Wow.
And very, very undervalued. Not a lot of people know an awful lot about the Appia.
Yeah.
People talk about the Aurelias.
You can't be in a bad mood with this car. I mean, when you drive
No,
this
it's like a
wherever you
noddy car, isn't it?
It is.
It's
kind of 356 Porsche in the way that it comes straight down. It's sort of perpendicular to the ground.
Yeah.
But it's also quite Wolseley as well.
Yes, it is. And of course, it has a very unique design with the suicide doors.
Oh, yes. Can we open them?
Sure.
That is just beautiful. It's great, but it's just weird not having that support, that B post in the middle to give it that strength.
Yeah. They did have extremely thick sills, but you're absolutely right. It's something we don't see anymore, although I believe they brought it back on one of the Mazdas, didn't they? The RO80.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I think they did. But
Do you know what I love about Lancia? And it's such a shame they don't exist anymore, because they were such risk takers.
they were.
But they went, no, let's not just go for a straight 4, let's go for a V4.
Yeah. I mean, there's a V4 in this one, which is...
in this?
Yeah, this is all a vertical block.
Right.
Whereas the Fulvia was...
Can we pop the bonnet?
Yeah, sure, cool.
This is a treat to see this. I mean, it's one of these little obscure cars that you never get to get stuck into ever, really. I mean, look at that.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. Tiny little engine, little V4. So that's the same lump as in our Fulvia, right?
No, this is an 1100.
Right. Ours is a 13.
Yours is a 13, and it's a completely different design. So Lancia went again and completely turned everything on its head.
Right, which of the two, which is your favourite? I can
think
tell,
it's still the Fulvia.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to believe they went from this, and this was just designed with French curves. There's not really a straight line on it.
No, there isn't.
To go from this to that being the one that followed it, it's just a bizarre thought, isn't it? Completely different.
Come and have a look at this. The complexity of a Fulvia is just completely different to anything else of those sort of lines. They completely turned the rule book on its head and started making all these complicated designs. Very difficult to repair, very time consuming.
Do you know what?
Difficult to make, I guess.
Well, actually looking at it, you've got so many different curves going on here. You've got a curve going in this direction.
Yep.
You've got a curve going in this direction, a curve going in this direction for not just 1, 2, all 3 panels there, plus a return angle back there. As opposed to with like modern cars now, it feels like the designers sit down with the tool makers and the tool makers go, it's going to cost you a load of it's going to cost you a load of money to make that fancy design, so let's just make it simple. Which is a cop-out, right?
It is a cop-out, and I think that's why it ended up bankrupting the company, and Fiat had to bail it out or take it over.
This car did?
Yes, this car did, and I think it's because the amount of money it costs to actually design disc brakes all round, the very complex body shape, more expensive than an E-Type back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, and...
more expensive than an E-Type?
Yes.
But actually, a car that some people would say is better than an E-Type.
Well, I would.
It's great. Right, look, let's not just hang around and wax lyrical about Lancia. All that. I've come here to get some. I could happily just chat cars all day.
You need some panels.
Yeah. Can we get talking about some panels?
Yeah, sure.
Right, where do we start?
So shall we make an inner sill?
Make them.
Make it from scratch, full length inner sill for you to put in your car.
Right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Where do we do it?
Let's
Fantastic.
do it. Okay. Here we have an original Lancia Fulvia inner sill.
Right. How long have you been into these things to actually even have one of these that hasn't been fitted to a car?
Quite a few years, and to find one of these is pretty rare now. So I keep this solely as a pattern, and basically everything that I make is copied from that original.
What can you tell me about the strength of this particular sill from looking at it? Because it's got all these lines and pressings, right?
Right, yeah, sure. Let me just run through it with you. It sits in the car like that. You've got these original pressings all the way along the inner sill, which basically gives it strength. This one here is to take the wiring loom and also gives it some strength as well.
Yeah. So this is the inner sill, isn't it? This is behind the pretty stuff you see on the outside.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got the outer sill,
Yeah.
this side, and it spot welds to this return. The two together are giving us the platform, basically, and the strength.
But it is actually, I mean, that's a super important structural piece, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The floor pan actually welds underneath, it runs underneath this as well. So it is a very important part of the car, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a structural...
Very structural.
Yeah.
And what we'll do, if you look at that,
yeah,
when we put the actual pressings in, we'll see how it changes it.
Yeah. Right, let's do it. So shall I shift this one out of the way for the time being?
Great, yep.
Okay.
So now we're going to start with a flat sheet of steel, and we're going to put the pattern for the inner sill.
Okay.
And then we're going to mark it out, basically.
They're brilliant, those things, aren't they?
They are.
Right, what's next?
Next, first thing I want to do is I want to drill the hole, which is important.
Okay.
That actually, you put your subframe box underneath there, so you need to actually be able to get at that. There's a bolt comes up.
There you go. Got it.
Right, that gives us our hole.
Decent hole, yeah. So what's the next thing?
The next stage is to put these like snake-like pressings into the sill.
Okay.
Which we're going to do with this fly press.
Yep. Do you know, we live in a time now where people just go and buy things. This is a lovely thing to see, the whole journey from a flat piece of steel you could buy from anywhere to a finished inner sill for a Lancia Fulvia in a garage.
Let's
have a look.
There we go.
There it is. There's the snake. Okay. So we've got the snakes in. Now it's time for the long sausage.
Yeah, you can call it sausage, wiring loom recess.
Okay, so we've changed the tools.
Change the tools, and we're going to start right in the middle of the panel, and we're going to work right to left.
Okay. With this, let's be honest, I don't know about you, but I didn't get it at all. I did not guess this is the way it was going to happen. I thought it was just going to be one great big press, bang, out, next one, bang, out. This is actually pretty labour intensive.
Yeah, it takes a while.
And it looks like you just wrecked that. I mean, it's a big banana now. It's no longer a nice straight sausage, it's just a big banana.
It doesn't look too good, does it?
No. So how do we do that? How do we flatten that out?
It's actually not that difficult, but you've got to be careful. You can't just grab hold of it and fold it.
You'll crease it.
Yeah, so you've just got a gentle pressure along it. It's just a matter of being patient with it sometimes.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
Right, the folding machine.
Yep, folding machine. Going to fold the sill along its entire length to a right angle, first of all.
Right, so am I lining up this little sort of V, this little cut we did with the tin snips?
Yep, absolutely.
So we're now clamped up.
Yep.
And then you bring this up to 90 degrees, right?
So I preset it to 90 degrees.
Right.
So basically that's the first...
Wow. Now I want to bring this out and feel this thing because it's going to be pretty solid now, isn't it? I mean, okay. We were talking earlier on about lifting up the sill and there being no flex in it. Well, for the first time, this one's doing exactly that now, isn't it?
Yep. So we're now going to put another bend at this stage on the bottom end.
So this little piece of steel just happens to look like a piece of scrap, but it's actually, it's the length which is basically...
It's exactly the distance
the
I
right
need,
length, yeah,
for the bend.
Okay, bring it up. So this is going to add another sort of fold of strength to it, isn't it?
There you go.
And now it really is beginning to look like a sill.
Perfect.
Wow. And that is the final pressing, isn't it?
Well, now all we need to do is close the ends.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That is brilliant, and that is one of 2 inner seals we're going to make. What else do we need to make today?
You also need 2 floor pans, rear floor pans. You need a rear lower valance. You need 2 subframe boxes, 2 subframe arms. You need 4 wheel arches and 4 inner arches. And we'll see if you've got everything after that.
Have you got spare room here?
Yeah, no problem. I'll show you.
Spare underpants?
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.